you'll be the judge. You tell me if this sleeves looks ridiculous on me. Hello YouTube friends and welcome to Aldo. On today's episode, I have another thrift flip. So I purchased this dress at a flea market when my family and I went to New York last year. So yeah, I got that for $2 and it was a vintage dress that is like a floor length dress. So I decided to turn it into a much more wearable piece. I actually experimented on how to do a puff sleeve that will stay and hold its shape, and I managed to do that, but it doesn't suit me. It doesn't suit my style. But you know, I learned something new today, and I hope you will learn something too. If you want big voluminous sleeves, this tutorial is going to cover that. So without further ado, let's go back to where we started when the dress didn't look like this. So let's go ahead and go back to the start. I love it. It's maxi skirt, flounce sleeves, and it has this detail. And then when you open it up, this is actually a nursing dress. As you can see, the breast part is open so you can feed the baby. How cool is that? That's why I kind of don't know what to do with this, because I love this dress, but I'm not gonna be using it. So yeah, just because, you know, nursing dress is very very handy. That's why I kind of feel bad of kind of cutting this or doing something to this just because of that reason. The first thing I will do is deconstruct the dress. So I am going to be removing the shoulder pads, the sleeves, and the belt and the belt loops. And here I am carefully cutting off the sleeves following the seam, just because I am going to be reusing the sleeves later on, and I'm doing it one layer at a time. I'm also going to cut the side seams open. Also going to cut along the shoulder seams. Now I have all the pieces separated. So this is the back and this is the front. I'm going to carefully remove the flap on the front of the bodice. I'm also cutting along the neckline. Set it aside and I will use it for the neck and their facing. Now let's work on the bodice. So there is a princess seam right here. So princess seam, I'm just going to fold it like this, and I'm going to take it in following that original seam. So I'm probably going to take in about 1 inch, and I'm just going to test it as I go, just because it's hard to measure it just because it's already like this. So I'm just going to take it in ever so slowly and then go from there. This is going to be my guideline right in the edge of the presser foot. So I'm going to line up the original seam against the end of the presser foot. Okay, just like that. Ended up doing about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance instead of 1 inch. As you can see, there is no more breast exit. I may have to iron it, okay? So it looks really nice. And then on the back, turn that off really carefully. Some of the clips are going to be fast forward, just because if I don't do that, this video is going to be super long and I don't want to bore you to death. Of course, I am going to repeat the same step on the other princess seam. I'm not going to remove the zipper. I'm just going to close that so it's one piece. So I'm just going to do the same thing I'm going to take it in. Same thing like I did on the front. I'm going to take it in from here. Okay. Same thing here. I'm going to take it in about that much. Don't need it anymore. So I'm going to cut about 1/2 inch or 1 inch. Loving this cutting mat that I got long time ago. It's from the brand Eco Pico. And yeah, I really love it. As you can see, it is very handy. If you have the grid already, it's so much easier to measure. So I'm going to do the same thing. Inch. I don't know about you, but I find cutting up clothes like this is very satisfying. I don't always cut up a good looking dress. I'm going to cut it as well. I am just trimming off excess fabrics, as you can see here. Of course, all the things that I do on the left side of the dress, it should be repeated on the other side. It was actually very challenging just because this dress wasn't symmetrical. Here I am just reshaping the arm side. As you can see, the left side is smaller than the right, so I'm struggling a little bit, like I don't know how much to cut, but I ended up cutting it anyway, and I made the arm side a little smaller than it was. I also trim off the side seam by about 1 inch, and I kind of did it on an angle. It's time to work on the neckline. Here I am going to make a neck interfacing. So I basically just put the neckline of the dress to that piece that I cut off earlier. I'm going to trace the shoulder seams, and I'm going to make a 3-inch wide neck facing. So while I am tracing, I just want to say hello to every one of you guys. I hope you are all doing well and staying healthy and happy. As you can see, I had been filming like all month of July, and this is going to be my last sewing project for this month of July. Homeschool is going to start pretty soon. That's why I am filming as much as I could just to keep up, and I have some contents to post on my channel. You have no idea that filming is actually helping me stay busy and just kind of not stressed out about the pandemic. So if you have a hobby that you want to learn, now this is the time. I'm actually learning how to play the piano. Oh my gosh, really enjoying it. I get to play my favorite songs already. Oh my gosh, you have no idea. I had been playing and I'm just having fun with it. I am actually playing by ear, so it much faster than the traditional learning like the note reading, which I absolutely hate. But playing by ear is such a great way to learn, and it's super easy. So let me know, you guys, if you want me to film a piano cover for beginners, because I'm not that good yet, but I can play and sing along with the music. So yeah. After I cut and fuse the interfacing, I am going to pin it on the right side of the neckline, and then I am going to sew along the edge, as you can see here. And try not to stretch the neckline so you will not have a gaping neckline, which is terrible. And we're good to go. And now I'm going to make some small cuts along the curve, especially on the curve here. It's called grading. The reason for it is so when you turn over the facing, the neckline is going to be nice and crisp. Just along the curve. This one is not that curve. Now it's much easier to turn, and it's going to lay flat beautifully like that, as you can see. Next thing I will do is understitch the facing, so be sure that the raw edge is facing towards the neck facing. The reason for it is so when you put the garment on, the neck facing is not going to peek through the neckline. Going to sew as close to the seam as possible, and I'm also constantly checking that the facing is pointing towards the right side or the facing. Now it's time to join the shoulder seams of the bodice and the neck facing. Right sides of the fabrics are facing each other. Let's match that first. Okay, so that's match. I'm going to pin or flip it. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Oh my gosh, I am really loving the color of this dress. And like I said earlier, I'm not going to make a lot of changes to the dress just because I want to keep the vintage style. And I am going to join the shoulder seams, and be sure to backstitch so it doesn't unravel. We have a finished neckline that is absolutely beautiful. So now we have a neckline. It's kind of wonky, but I'm going to press it. And now it's time to join the side seams of the dress. Okay, so I'm going to finish the neckline or this later on. But I'm going to trim all the way down to the hemline. Hey, if you are still watching the video, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. That means you are learning something today. I am going to match the side seams, and I am going to sew a straight stitch from the underarm seam all the way down to the hemline. So back stitch. Really enjoying this thrifted transformation sewing projects. This is totally for beginner. Now it's time to work on the sleeves. As you can see here, I'm just trimming off the edges, the rough edges. Also cut out an fusible interfacing, so when I turn this into a puff sleeves, it will hold its shape. And here I am marking about 3 inches in, so I can mark where I'm going to put the gather stitch, so I can lightly gather the sleeves to give that puffed effect. Just change the setting to the longest stitch setting on my sewing machine, and then I am going to pull the bobbin thread to gather the sleeve. Also sew the inseam of the sleeve. I place the sleeve inside the armhole, and I match the right sides of the fabric, and I also match the seams first and then work my way around. And then I will lightly gather the sleeve so it will fit in the armhole. After that, I am going to sew it all the way around. To get that puff look, I am going to shear the hemline of the sleeves. I already have a tutorial on how to shear stitch without using an elastic thread. I'm going to have the link in the description box below so you can go ahead and check that out. Now all what's left to do is hem the dress, and this is the before and now this is the after. I made it a little shorter so it is wearable. I really love how it turned out. The camera is not doing the dress some justice just because it's not picking up the right color. And as you can see, I reused the belt that I took off from the back of the dress earlier. My goodness, I absolutely love the sheared effect on this dress or on the sleeves. I think it looks very Renaissance or very romantic rather. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you like this sewing projects for beginner. I absolutely love doing this type of videos. Love doing thrifted transformations or thrift flip as we call it here on YouTube. I absolutely love it just because I love buying stuff at the thrift store, and I also love sustainable clothing. So anyway, you guys, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you like this tutorial. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I will see you in the next one. Bye!